get going.
Let's get going.
Yeah, I'm out that Brooklyn.
And welcome back to another edition of On the Board Sports. I am your host, Will Chirucci, a.k.a. Will C., coming to you from Gotham Podcast Studios in Manhattan, New York. Man, what a beautiful day it is on a Thursday afternoon. Got lots of sports to talk about here. But first and foremost, I want to introduce a very special guest of mine. Joining me from LIU Post is the one and only Mike Domagala. Mike, how are you, bud?
Well, I appreciate you having me on. It's my first podcast experience, and I'm happy I'm with you.
Mike, I've been following you, and I follow your other Instagram page too, NBA, right? NBA.
Yep. NBA Buzz.
NBA Buzz. One of the better pages you want to follow on Instagram. Huge basketball fan. But not only is he a huge basketball fan, ladies and gentlemen, he is an absolute big sports fan.
That is true.
You know, you see everything going on in the world of sports right now. But, Mike, before we get into everything, I got to ask you, how did you get into doing what you're doing right now? And number two, why did you do it?
So to answer that, I started NBA Buzz when I was 12 years old. Started on Facebook, and it's still going today. Got 2.3 million followers on Facebook. I recently started about a year and a half ago on Instagram. I'm up to 120,000 followers there.
Right.
Something new that I've been doing. I got my website, Courtside Buzz, where I write daily NBA articles. And recently I started a show called Inside Buzz with Mike Domagala. And I interview NBA personnel. I've had Jason Kidd's son, TJ Kidd,
Right.
Ryan Hollins, Derrick Rose's trainer, Keith Hodges, last week, and also Mitchell Creek. So, you know, I'm kind of getting to start with that. I do it over like a Skype-type chat. And I just love talking basketball and getting content out of it, pushing it out there, and kind of getting my name and NBA Buzz on my website out there.
Absolutely.
So that's what I've been doing.
Absolutely, man. You know, you go out there, you hustle hard every day, and, you know, you try to get all the interviews and all that. It's a great thing for what you're doing right now, especially at a young age. You're only 20 years old, Mike.
I'm only 20. I'm still in school. I go to LIU Post on Long Island.
You're not even allowed to have a drink yet.
Isn't that crazy, man? Isn't that crazy?
And you had the following and everything like that going on. Just wait, man.
Yep.
You know,
Listen, it's all a grind. Having Manhattan out here is a great asset to meet people. And, you know, I'm not even, you know, kids drink, kids party, stuff like that. I'm home from school. I'm working. I'm writing articles. I'm interviewing people. I'm working towards what I want to do when I'm older.
And many people should, and many kids that should, you know, they want to be in your situation right now. You've been doing this since you were 12, 8 years, and you can only imagine when people see you or whatever it is that they think about you when they first see you, and they're like, this guy? You know what I mean? Seriously, that's how some people actually think. You know, and that's a horrible way to think because you grind your way.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy. I mean, you mentioned, too, that you know Brandon Robinson, Scoop B.
Yes.
He's one of the better guys you'll ever want to meet. You know it.
Oh, man. So Scoop B, me and Scoop's relationship goes back probably 2 years. You know, he saw me as a hungry journalist growing up on Instagram and Facebook, and he reached out to me. And, you know, we talk. He's had lots and lots of NBA experience.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always kind of a mentor to me.
Right.
Then I played at MSG last year for Anthony Donahue's Knicks games where you could, like, play basketball on the MSG court.
Yeah.
And Scoop was there. So I'm like, Scoop, how's it going? And I didn't say my name. And he's like, yo, Mike, how's it going? See, that's like real recognize real.
Right.
He's like, he saw it was me,
Right.
recognized me, and we chopped it up about basketball.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome how you just build up a relationship like that, too. We had him on our show, on our NBA preview, just the other day. I think that should be dropping anytime soon. We had him and Andrew Sallet, a.k.a. 1-2 Combo, from Combo's Court. Another guy that you should definitely try and interview.
Yeah, I saw that. I followed him. Once I saw that interview, I saw Scoop was working with you. Checked it out. Followed whoever is on it.
Absolutely, man. Hey, listen, there's a lot of things going on in basketball right now. And it's preseason, and everybody's blowing it up right now as far as preseason goes. Obviously, you're seeing Zion. He's dunking, and basically nobody can guard him in preseason. And then you have all these things going on in China right now that a lot of people don't want to talk about, especially the national networks, and I totally understand that, and I get why they do that. But Mike, from your perspective and from what you've seen and from what you've read and understood, what's going on with China right now? You know, because there's a lot of money involved over here. Forget about politics aside and everything like that. It all comes down to money. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Listen, we'll put politics aside. Also, I'm not very big into politics, but what Daryl Morey tweeted, the Houston Rockets general manager, he was exercising his First Amendment, freedom of speech. And, you know, China didn't like that. The NBA backed Morey. Players are starting to back Morey. And what's going on is China isn't liking the criticism that they're getting from Morey. And it might take a hit on the NBA losing deals and stuff like that. Some preseason games are playing in China right now. This morning, a few games wrapped up. They're taking down billboards, and they're not allowing their fans to get the full NBA experience because of politics. And when you bring politics into sports, I feel it ruins it because sports brings people together. Politics divides people like crazy. So what's going on? I mean, it's crazy. It's going to cost the NBA a lot of money. But I think Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, somebody in China has to revive this relationship because the NBA and basketball is a global sport. And both parties need to be happy with each other for it to grow.
Absolutely. And you see a lot of things going on in the world right now, too. But this whole China thing with me, it kind of irks me in a sense where here we have a guy that's, like you said, and like we said, you know, off the air, he's, you know, speaking his mind, and he's doing what he's, you know, as an American citizen, you do, you know, it's First Amendment right.
Yep.
But with that being said, like there's backlash on how he should be out of the league, and I get Houston's side. They drafted Yao Ming. You know, they have all these deals with all these Chinese companies and everything like that. That along the way made them money, and I get why some Chinese businesses want to leave, but you know, at the same point in time, like there's a lot of crazy stuff going on over there in China.
Oh, yeah.
There is. I mean, you have some concentration camps going on over there. You know, you have people that work in slave wages over there, and companies like Nike and Adidas, you know, they don't really do anything because they have a lot of their work going on.
It's all about the money.
About the money. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's insane. And you know, for fans to rip, you know, some NBA players for not saying anything, I get it. Yep. You know, it's their livelihood on the line. But if you really want to be like a legend in this country, you know, look at a guy like a Muhammad Ali, you know, standing up for what's going on, what happened in Vietnam years ago, you know, and he's regarded as a legend. You know, LeBron, this would be his perfect opportunity to say something on this, but you know, there's a lot of fans that might be turned off afterward. And,
certainly. You
know, it would. I definitely understand that. I definitely get that. But, you know, when it comes to that, man, it's just a tough thing.
So I've been reading a lot of comments on NBA Buzz's post based on this, and the fans seem to say that China is overreacting and stuff like that, which, you know, I don't know how I feel about that. But I think one thing that's sad about this whole situation, the NBA starts in 12 days. You know, it's taken away from the start of one of the greatest NBA seasons that's coming up ever.
Right.
Zion Williamson in the preseason, you know, the two LA teams out there. I mean, this is huge hype.
There's a lot of
new year.
There's a lot of dynamic duos now in the league. There's no one super team. Anybody can win it this year.
That's what I love about this new season because for the past few years, especially during the, you know, LeBron versus Warriors era, that was, you know, a few straight seasons worth of, all right, here comes another season. They're going to win. They're going to win. To the finals we go, and boom. The third time around, I didn't even want to watch it because it was getting boring. So I think, you know, as much as I don't like seeing too much movement in the NBA, you know, this past summer was crazy. I think it's great for the league, you know? Yeah. There's not one set team to win.
There's definitely not one set team in the league either to win. And, you know, you mentioned the two LA teams. Let's start off there. I mean, we had on our preview, and we talked Combo, Scoopy, and my partner Sean Thomas and I, we talked about it, and we led off with the Knicks and the Nets, and you know, we hit up on the Lakers and the Clippers, but I want to get your take on the LA rivalry because there's a lot of interesting things going on right now. I mean, the Lakers for years have dominated the Clippers, and then when Blake Griffin and Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan teamed up, then they started to win games, and that was obviously when the Lakers went downhill after that. But Mike, in your honest opinion, what for the year that the Lakers and the Clippers, for this rivalry to be good, what needs to happen?
I think what needs to happen is health. Both teams need to stay healthy, because if one of the big four, I would call them, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, if one of them goes down, it's going to hurt either team, and it's going to hurt the rivalry. So between the teams, it's tough. LeBron James and Anthony Davis on a team, that is pretty incredible. They got a solid background of players.
Right.
Danny Green, Dwight Howard, great surrounding players. The Clippers, though, you got to look at what the Clippers did last season. That Clippers team, what did they come back from against the Warriors that one game? Maybe 33-point lead or something in the playoffs like that?
Right.
And that was a team without Kawhi, without Paul George. And that team was led by Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell. And those guys are still on this team. And you add Kawhi Leonard, just won the championship. Paul George.
From a trade. And he wanted out of OKC.
Oh, yeah. No. Paul George, two of the best two-way players in the NBA, along with Lou Williams, Harrell. Patrick Beverley's a dog on defense. That team's going to be pretty nuts.
Yeah. And, you also, too, you didn't mention either Doc Rivers being the coach.
Yep.
I mean, this guy knows how to coach star talent, obviously, in 2008 when the Celtics won it all.
Yep.
There's a lot of things going on, with Doc and everything like that. But with I'm a huge Lakers fan. And I'm going to give you my honest take on the Lakers, okay? When healthy, this team can probably be a top 4 team in the league. If they lose out on LeBron or an AD, it ain't looking good. Because now, think about it. And I've been saying this to my co-host. I've been saying this to many people. LeBron James is on the wrong side of 30.
True.
He is not. He's coming off of a major injury. And, you look at guys like MJ and guys that have come off of long periods of stretch of time, like when MJ came back from his retirement in 95, 96. He dominated. And then he retired again 97, 90 after the 97, 98 season when they won the 6th championship for the Bulls. And he took off the 2 years, and he came back to Washington. Still had it in the tank somewhat, but not the same player that he once was. But you look at free agents in general, okay? You look at free agents in general that sign these big deals, they don't pan out.
It's true.
They don't pan out. But with LeBron and with everything like that that's been happening with him, look, there's a lot that can happen. And with Anthony Davis there too, keep this in mind. When Dwight Howard in his first stint with the Lakers was there, it was his contract year, right? Plays with Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol. They had Mike Brown there for the first couple games. He gets canned after the 1-4 start. They had Bernie Bickerstaff there, and then they hired D'Antoni after that, okay? The year was sort of a wash after Kobe had his career year and everything like that under D'Antoni. Probably his best year outside of 05-06, and even in the MVP year too, but who's counting that? But he gets hurt, team goes down, everything goes down, shambles and flames, and then afterward it's been draft pick, and the fan base wants to win.
And it looked like last year they were going to get in.
Right.
Big time.
Right.
When LeBron James went down, that was obviously horrible for the team. When Lonzo Ball went down, that was the start of it. So I think last year's team, if they stayed healthy, we would definitely not see what happened with the Lakers this summer. Because I don't think they would have broken them all up. And
not only that, but with all the rumors going around Anthony Davis and his turmoil and that saga that happened, a lot of players, once they heard that some of their names were being mentioned in trades, are like, wait, they want to get rid of me.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge, they grew up idolizing LeBron and everything like that. It was a huge honor to play with him. But, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah,
they're trying to win games.
Because they think, I want to be here. They don't want me here. Then they second-guess themselves. Then they feel like they got to live up to the standards. Maybe they're forcing bad shots. Who know? You know what I mean? After that whole saga. So I think, with the Pelicans, if we want to touch on the Pelicans.
Go ahead.
that team is going to be one of the best teams in the league in 3 years. Zion Williamson, and all the LA guys that came over for Anthony Davis. Now, who won that trade?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. I think from looking at it now, both teams won it because the Pelicans got so many draft picks out of that trade. And the Lakers, they're in win-now mode. They want to win while LeBron is in LA.
Right.
It's going to be a great season.
You got to hope so. And, you also, too, bringing back Dwight Howard for a second here. When Dwight got traded, that was his final year of his deal.
Mm-hmm.
He left. He went to Houston. 5 years later, after what happened, 6 years later, he's back on the team now. And Anthony Davis is sort of in the same situation that Dwight was in.
Yep.
Now, do you see Dwight Howard pulling Anthony Davis over and be like, yo, man, listen, you got to do what's best for you. I did what's best for me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I could have had the keys to the car with the Lakers and with Kobe and everything like that. But you and LeBron have a great relationship whereas, Kobe and I probably didn't. This is probably all stuff that they're probably talking about behind closed doors and everything, where there's no cameras.
I think it is maybe something that they're mentioning. But remember, this is 5 years later. They brought in Dwight Howard to be the Kobe Shaq type thing just years later. You know what I mean? Now Dwight is going to take that backup center, maybe even starting center role. With Anthony Davis and that situation, where Davis would be Howard in that situation, Kobe and LeBron are different. A lot different. Kobe, tough to play with sometimes maybe. He's not as, willing to give up the ball as LeBron. Right. LeBron's at a different point in his career that Kobe was, where Kobe won a lot during when Dwight Howard was on. LeBron is still going for that championship. And I'm not saying Kobe and Nash and those guys weren't, but that team didn't pan out. I think this team has, is in a better situation than that team because they're not old. How Gasol was aging, Steve Nash, Kobe was aging. Again, I think this Lakers team is dangerous. Even if Dwight and AD have that conversation, and it's in the back of AD's mind.
Do you see AD, we know what AD is going to do this year, and I don't want to be bringing up AD's contract status till probably the end of the year. But in your mind, how big of a role is it to have LeBron and Anthony Davis on the same team?
It's whatever LeBron wants it to be. And reports I've been reading is LeBron has said he wants to take the back seat and let Anthony Davis do what he does. Mm-hmm. AD is still so young. He hasn't even reached his full potential yet. Put him with a guy, LeBron James. He could feed him. LeBron's a threat driving. It's going to be Lob City with the Lakers between those two. I think LeBron's going to help Anthony Davis's career. It's going to be crazy.
I hope you're right in that regard for the Lakers. And, you see what's going on. We mentioned the Clippers. We mentioned the Lakers. This is going to be one crazy hallway series.
Oh, yeah. Not even just that. They're still the Golden State Warriors. The Denver Nuggets have
they have Nikola Jokic.
Oh, yeah. They built more chemistry between their guys. It's another year for them all to develop.
Right.
They got Michael Porter Jr. off the bench. I don't know if you know who that is.
I know who that is. He was supposed to be a lottery pick.
Oh,
and
yeah.
wound up dropping in the lottery.
He's a young stud, that kid.
Yeah.
So there's Golden State. There's Denver. There's also Portland. Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum. They added Kent Bazemore, nice bench piece. And Hassan Whiteside. He was a beast in Miami when his head was in the game. And if they get his head in the game, the Blazers could be top five.
I think they could be a finals contender, even win the finals.
Yep.
If they keep that team healthy and they, everybody's on the same page, that's just something that remains to be seen. Their coaching staff is actually pretty decent too.
Oh yeah.
But and also too in the West, there's a lot of star-driven players too.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Dallas. Dallas has, and we didn't even mention Houston yet.
Oh,
outside of
totally forgot about that.
Outside of what had happened with Morey.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Dallas still having Luka Doncic.
Yep.
He's a stud.
Porzingis.
Him and Porzingis. That's going to be an unbelievable tandem this year.
So I feel like teams like them, the Sacramento Kings in the West,
mm-hmm.
those are two teams who are going to be on the cusp. So they're still very young. They're extremely, extremely talented. But, there's juggernauts in that Western Conference. I think, maybe a 9 or a 10 seed between those two teams. I mean, the Western Conference is loaded, man. And if those teams aren't going to have success this year, they're going to have more success next year, the year after.
Right.
KP and Luka, if you average their age, what are they, 22 combined? Mm-hmm. If you average it, they're still an extremely young team, and they're still going to build pieces because those two will attract free agents.
Is Rick Carlisle still a coach over there?
Yes.
That's going to be a scary offensive unit.
I think so too.
That's going to be a crazy, scary unit.
I think they need another piece though. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. If you remember what he did with the Knicks, people were thinking, all right, they paid him a lot of money.
Absolutely.
He's
a 3-year, $70 million deal, right?
High volume shooter, high volume scorer.
Right.
Just not consistent. He'll shoot 7 for 20 on average. I mean, that's not exactly good.
Right.
So, there's guys in Dallas who could hold it down, but I don't think they get in this season.
Looks like it might be another year. And you mentioned Sacramento. I had Sacramento last year as a surprise team, and everybody looked at me with like 5 heads, laughed at me. Like, yeah, what the hell do you know? And
they got pieces.
Yeah, they
got
definitely
Fox.
have pieces,
they got Bagley. Harrison Barnes is a good vet. I mean, they got a lot of good guys.
Absolutely. And then the Warriors too. They wound up going out there and signing Willie Cauley-Stein and a couple other guys. Did he get suspended or what? Something happened to him? No,
I don't believe so.
No,
he
or hurt.
He wasn't in their first preseason game.
Okay,
that I know. I'm not sure though. He's a good addition to put next to Draymond in the paint.
What about Chris? That kid Chris. Are they gonna?
Oh, Marquise Chris.
Yeah,
who they just signed.
Yeah,
that's a steal of a pickup because he's still. I believe he's 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He got into a fight with Serge Ibaka last year or the year before. And he was kind of getting blackballed. Like, this kid is a problem and stuff like that. He's still so young. That's a nice bench piece as well.
That is.
Bringing D'Angelo Russell in, to kind of tie him into Brooklyn, stuff like that. We'll gateway to them right after.
Yeah.
Listen, on defense, him and Steph Curry aren't exactly going to lock down. But on offense, they'll be splashing threes left and right. So, I mean, that team, when Clay is healthy, they'll still be a contender because why not?
That's the one thing that scares me, though, with Golden State is – yeah, they lost out on Kevin Durant, and I get that you can't replace a guy like a Kevin Durant and his skill set and his mind and everything like that. But if you put Stephen Curry and D'Angelo Russell together out there on the same court at the same time, I don't think it's going to work, me personally. If you put both of them out there at the same time, something's got to give. Something has to give because both guys are very ball dominant.
But when Durant was there, Curry and Clay's production went down. I mean, I don't even know. You're right. I don't even know what to think there. But I think a better question is, how is Westbrook and Harden going to perform together?
That's a scary thing because they did play together in Oklahoma City years ago.
Way before they hit their primes.
7 years ago, yeah.
Yep. And I mean, like, listen, if they get good chemistry together and they don't hog the ball, they look for the right shots, they both utilize Capella in the paint. They're also a contender. They got a good bench. That's another team who could finish top 5 in the West.
The one thing that scares me with Houston is they really have nobody to rebound the ball over there.
Short lineup.
It's a very, very short lineup. And on top of that, in a D'Antoni style of offense, they're going to be scoring the ball a lot through the three-point shot and through their fast break opportunities. But the one thing here that kind of kills it with me is the fact that, remember we mentioned Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash?
Yep.
I get that they were older, and I understand that. And also, too, with Melo and AI, when they played together, too, ball dominant players, didn't really pan out.
True.
Did not pan out. History will always tell you, history always repeats itself. The thing is, you got to learn from it.
And I think Russell Westbrook, I mean...
I hope they learn from it because it's going to be a very fun year. But I don't know. I don't know what might happen.
They can't worry about stats. 2 MVPs. Stats won them their MVPs. They can't worry about who scores, who rebounds, who assists. They got to go to win the game.
Right.
They got to take good shots. Westbrook and Harden today in the preseason combined to shoot 35% or something like that. I mean, that's not flattering. So they gotta utilize PJ Tucker, Clint Capella, and work as a team, not the two of them.
Absolutely. Speaking of Harden, I want to get your take on this. That stupid jump back, step back, whatever, that
Uh-huh.
4-step. I don't get why they don't call that a travel. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh man, I think it should be a travel sometimes. Sometimes it's good, it's clean. But I mean, he said he wants to revolutionize the game. We'll see. He put one up in preseason and bricked it, a little dance shot. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that this season, and we'll see how the media reacts to it because it's not going to be good.
Yeah, and especially when you have fans like myself saying, "Wait, this guy's taking 4 steps."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When the ball, when he's not even dribbling, I don't know. It's
man.
It's mind-boggling how we go from age where, you know, you get it's all right to take 6 steps and you know nobody calls anything. You know what I mean? But you don't call that a travel. Like it's absolutely mind-blowing. But
exactly, man. So right now, I'm very excited. Very exciting time to be a sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you like the NBA, you know, you're a big hockey guy, and baseball right now. So the NBA, it's going to be one of the most complex seasons ever. And the MLB playoffs, I know you wanted to touch on that.
Oh, man. We'll get on that in a minute.
All right.
Mike, let's shift everything over now to the East Coast.
Gotcha.
Okay. Knicks and Nets, we kind of know and see what's going on right now. Kevin Durant came out with his comments saying that going to Brooklyn was the cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the same thing going to the Warriors after they went 73-9 and they won the championship the year prior was the cool thing to do.
The cool thing.
Yeah, the cool thing to do.
In quotes, yep.
You know, realistically, I get it. You know, we live in a cool world, but, you know, what's your take on the Knicks and the Nets this year?
The Nets had great stuff going for them last year. D'Angelo Russell, he might be averaging 25 this year if he was still with the Nets.
Right.
He would have had a career year.
Right.
I understand why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity to bring Kyrie and KD to the Nets. That is incredible.
Right.
Why they didn't sign with the Knicks, it's tough. I get with what Kevin Durant is saying with the Knicks, that it's not the cool thing to do because they haven't won in years.
Right.
But it's still New York. And the Knicks, I wouldn't say they had an A-plus offseason. They had a B-plus offseason. They brought in good guys, and that shows that they're an attractive team, attractive city. Listen, man, I guess KD and Kyrie saw they couldn't turn around the Knicks culture. I don't know why they chose that. Maybe they wanted to start something new in Brooklyn. Because, I mean, when have the Nets really won anything?
Outside of 2002 and 2003,
exactly.
Never really. But
so maybe they saw it as, listen, the Knicks, there's fans, but everybody's giving up on them. The Nets is kind of the new wave, and I'm a Knicks fan, and I'm still saying this. The Nets is the new wave. They had a great season last year, and KD and Kyrie, I think, just want to win in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and, you know, you look at, too, what KD went through. The guy that did his surgery on his knee was a Nets, I believe, a Nets doctor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, a lot of things that are going on. I think he had his mind made up already that he wanted to go to Brooklyn when he was playing, you know.
I think so also.
And Kyrie Irving was a Nets fan growing up, so kind of made sense for him to go full circle from after growing up in New Jersey, going to St. Patrick's, right?
Yep.
And then going to Duke, playing at Cleveland, then going to Boston, then coming back to the tri-state area to play basketball again is absolutely a huge, huge deal for him.
Yep. Just to cut in, I can't believe a guy like Kyrie has bounced around that much in so little time already. Because, I mean, he's a superstar player. When LeBron and Kyrie were in Cleveland, you would never think 2 years later, 3 years later, he'd be through 2 teams already. It's crazy.
A lot of drama and a lot of rift, and whatever happens in the behind closed doors, that definitely doesn't help out some certain situations. But, you know, that's whether here nor there. Now he's on Brooklyn. With the Knicks, Mike, I know you just touched on it that you're a huge Knicks fan. What? Give me your take on the Knicks this year.
I'm smiling from ear to ear right now because I'm excited. This is the first season, and I was listening to the Alan Hahn podcast you had with him. He was saying they need to establish, you know, a presence in New York, a foundation to grow on. R.J. Barrett, you know, Mitchell Robinson, Dennis Smith Jr., Kevin Knox, they're all young guys, and that's the foundation. They brought in players like Bobby Portis, Marcus Morris, and Julius Randle. You know, great addition this past summer. Again, they don't get enough credit for what they did because I think, like Alan Hahn also said, Julius Randle and Dennis Smith need to have big seasons if the Knicks want to sneak in that 8th spot. And I think they might because Coach Fizdale's a great coach, player coach.
And he's a defensive and rebounding guy.
Yes.
A guy that wants to have that workman-like mentality to him.
And Mitchell Robinson is that guy. Future Defensive Player of the Year for sure. You saw in the preseason Marcus Morris bounced the ball and did some street ball stuff off the defender's head.
Yeah.
And he said that's New York basketball or something like that. That's the kind of grit this Knicks team needs to have to make that 8th spot. They need to play like a team, not worry about who scores, and hopefully they get in.
What's your take on Frank Ntilikina?
Ooh, Frank. I've been seeing highlights what he did in France this past summer in the FIBA, and everybody's saying he's grown tremendously. Not physically, but as a player.
Right.
He's got a lot of guys in front of him. And having that many players, he might not find the right opportunity. Mm-hmm. Do they trade him? I don't know. He's still so young. He's improved. Even in the preseason, his shot came around a little bit. I watched the first few games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you see everything that's going on right now in the world. And, a lot of people just say to themselves, like, what's going on with Mr. Ntilikina? But there's a lot of things that ultimately happen. And when I look at him and I just say to myself, like, okay, this guy was a top 10 pick. He's got his 6'5" body, but he has that 7-foot wingspan, and he has that potential to be that perfect 3-and-D guy.
Yep. But listen, I think the Knicks made a mistake. Knicks like to gamble. I mean, they kind of gambled on Porzingis. He wasn't really known, and it worked out. Well, when he was with the Knicks, it worked out. He was score the ball, rebound. I think the Knicks should have taken Dennis Smith. And instead of going through all this whole process with Ntilikina, they would have grown Dennis Smith into a better player than what he is now while they have him now.
So who starts in your mind, Ntilikina or Smith? Smith Jr.?
Oh, Dennis Smith. My starting 5 would be Dennis Smith at the point, RJ at the 2, maybe Bobby Portis at the 3 or Marcus Morris. I would let Knox come off the bench as a forward. Randall at the 4, Robinson at the 5. That's a good, young, hungry lineup.
So ISO Trier, ISO Zoe, he's coming off the bench. And then another guy, too, that might have to earn his minutes somewhat, who I think should be starting, is Elfrid Payton.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Elfrid Payton.
That's why. Ntilikina's got a lot of guys around him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Elfrid Payton put up like 3 straight triple-doubles last year. Quality player. Another guy off there, who else is off their bench? Let me think. Taj Gibson was a great pickup.
Yeah.
They got a solid roster. They don't get enough credit for what they did this past summer. As a Knicks fan, I hope they get in. Just to watch a playoff series.
Absolutely. And speaking of other teams going on, Miami, they got Jimmy Butler. Mm-hmm. The Sixers, they wound up going out there and getting
Al Horford.
Al Horford, right. Thank you.
Josh Richardson as well through Miami.
Through the trade, right. Yep. Boston got Kemba Walker. Mm-hmm. And the Hawks, they're a year better, but they're still a little bit away.
They don't have it yet. Not yet.
They're still a little bit away. And the Magic, too, might surprise a lot of people
Possibly.
this year.
Listen, look what they did in the playoffs last season against the Raptors.
Right.
They gave them a fight. Not a tremendous fight, but they showed they could hang in there.
Yeah.
They're a solid team. Lots of good teams in the NBA. And if you look at the past few years in the NBA, let's see, the last 5 teams in the league sucked. Mm-hmm. They didn't have much talent, not a complete lineup. Okay, so if you look at the Hawks, they might not even scratch the 8th seed at all, maybe even not the 9th. They're a solid lineup. Trae Young and John Collins, great 1-2 punch. Mm-hmm. They just brought in a lot of quality guys through the draft. Again, they might be a bad team, not a good team.
Like a 9-10 seed type.
But even as a 9-10 seed for the future, that's a great team.
Right.
So time will tell in the future of how they'll be with Trae Young at the helm.
I tell you one team that might be bad this year, and that's the Wizards. They have no depth as far as forwards go and centers. But Rai Hachimura, right?
Yep.
8th pick. Mm-hmm. Got drafted. He looks like he's a solid pick so far. Through preseason. You have another guy, too, former Laker, Mo Wagner.
Yep.
solid pickup by the Wizards. I don't get why the Lakers traded him. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that.
They got decent pieces. Isaiah Thomas, if
John
Wall's out for the year. If Isaiah Thomas stays healthy, picks up his swagger from his Celtics days. That's what his problem is.
John Wall's out?
John Wall's out for the year.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He had a very bad injury of his leg, his ankle, something. His foot, maybe. But with Isaiah Thomas, he needs to stay healthy.
Keep out of trouble.
Keep out of trouble. He lost his mojo when he got, kind of kicked from Boston. And that's kind of injury, and that hasn't really done him well. So hopefully, maybe he'll average 15 for that team, hopefully.
Who are your top 8 teams in the East and top 8 teams in the West?
Oh, man. Without them not even having it in front of me, I'll go 5 because 8 I don't have.
All right,
I don't have
go 5. Go 5.
I'll go 5 each.
All right.
Okay, I got the Sixers going 1.
Okay.
Coming out with the 1 seed. Number 2, let me see. Oh, who are some of these East teams?
Bulls? No.
Well, no.
Pacers? No.
Yeah, keep going. Keep knocking them off. Okay, we got the Nets. Nets will probably be the 4th seed. I'm going Boston 3.
Philly 1.
Philly 1. Oh, man. Who are the other juggernauts in the East?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee 2. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me redo this. So we got Philly 1, Milwaukee 2. I'm going Boston 3. Kemba Walker's going to pick up that team. 4, I'm looking at
The Nets.
Number 5.
The Raptors kind of sort of fell off.
Raptors might get in there. Why is there another team that I can't think of?
Indiana?
Depends on if Oladipo's healthy. I think they can maybe sneak in.
Even Sabonis.
Sabonis is a good,
awesome.
Good player. I'm missing some team in the East for some reason. I can't think off the top of my head. The West. West, I got this.
Okay.
So we got Clippers 1.
Right.
Denver 2. Lakers, I don't think they're going to mesh too well early on, and I think they're going to slip a little bit for 3. Houston 4. And let's go Portland 5.
Okay. All right. That's an interesting take right there. Houston as a top 4 team. I mean, that you got to have a lot of things break their way in a sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of good teams.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good teams. And injuries will tell.
Yep.
Chemistry. It's going to be a great year. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. Who's your finals take?
Finals. Oof. Western Conference Finals, definitely between the Clippers and the Lakers.
Really? You see both LA teams playing it out for that West, huh?
Possibly. If it could work, I think they both get it. Depends on the seeding and stuff like that.
Right.
The East. The Eastern Conference Finals, I don't know the 2 teams. I'm going to say Philly comes through.
Philly comes through.
I think Philly comes through.
With their depth, okay.
Yep, their depth over Milwaukee's depth. I'm going to go Clippers. Wow, this is tough. I'm going to go Clippers versus Philadelphia.
That's my partner's pick. Partner's pick right
and
there,
I hope
man.
months from now I could look back on this interview and say, I told the audience, I told you so.
You sound like, I think you and my partner should definitely hook up sometime soon and talk basketball, man. Got to come back on the show for that one. That would be a very interesting show. So you had the Clippers and the Sixers.
Yes.
In the finals.
Depth tells all. If one player goes down on that team, they have another player to pick them up.
And your winner is?
Oh, man, Will. You doing this to me?
I gotta, man.
Clippers.
Just because of the Kawhi factor? And the depth?
Oh, yeah. Kawhi, Paul George, one lineup.
Doc Rivers too being there.
Doc Rivers, they got players who could kind of take a backseat to those two. Where I think in Philadelphia, Simmons, Tobias Harris, not really Horford, and Embiid are going to kind of try to carry the load.
Right.
Where I think in LA with the Clippers, it's Kawhi and Paul George.
Okay.
The rest of the guys are going to play their role. Harold's going to play his role, rebounding, running the fast break, put back points, second chance points.
Yep.
Lou Williams off the bench. I got that Clippers team winning, man. What about you? What do you think?
I'll give you the East. I'll give you my Eastern Conference and Western Conference favorites. First off, we're just going to do – I'm not going to do top 5 teams. I did that on the preview show, and we're kind of sort of pressed for time here. But whatever. I'll go about it, and I'll say it. I'm going to say Clippers and Blazers out of the West. And out of the East, it'll be the Bucks, and the Bucks would have probably everybody's going with the Sixers, man. I'm gonna have to go with the Sixers.
They got a good lineup.
And I'm gonna have to go
above average bench.
Right. and I'm gonna have to go Bucks and Blazers in the finals.
Hot take.
That's a very hot take.
Burning hot.
I like that. I like that hot. You know, Damian Lillard's going into his own. This is his 7th year. He's got a lot to prove with Portland.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with McCollum. Same thing with, you know, what's going on in the world with Milwaukee. Giannis is, you know, his final year of his deal. Everybody's questioning him. Just let him go out there and play ball.
It's going to be a great year.
Absolutely.
And, Will, I know we've been talking a lot of basketball, and we want to touch on some baseball. But what I want to ask you is, how'd you start your show? And who are some notable guests you got on?
So not to digress on the guests, but I'll get to them in a minute. Basically, how the show started up was my partner Sean. He posted something on Instagram through Facebook saying that he wanted to get back on to radio, and how we met was at Nassau Community College about 9 years ago, and we did a radio show called Morning Sports Live, and I met Sean. Sean was great. Nice guy. We kept in touch somewhat through social media, but I wound up going my way. I went through my apprenticeship with Local 3, and I'm now a journeyman. And about a year and a half ago, he posted something on Instagram, and I followed him. I said, yo, let's do something. I was the only one to respond back to him, and he's got like 2,000 followers and everything like that. But with that being said, you know, we've had on, we came here, and this used to be downtown around the corner from the Freedom Tower.
Okay.
So it worked out to a degree. And then the studio moved here, and, you know, we've grown. We've had on a couple of guests, and speaking of the guests, we've had on Islanders play-by-play man Brendan Burke.
Okay.
We've had on Alan Hahn. We've had on Combo. We've had on Scoop B. Mikey Yam, who used to be on ESPN. Now he's on Pac-12 Network. He came on our show. Oh, man,
great guests.
Absolutely.
Very knowledgeable people, all those guys.
There's a lot of guests. Oh, Jose McFly.
Okay, the Yankees guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
John Boy from Talking Yanks.
Okay.
He just started up John Boy Media, and now that's blowing up big.
Cool, man.
So we've had on, you know, a lot. Danny's Dugout, a lot of Yankee fans. We've had on a lot of Islander fans on the show, and it's been absolutely just great. And there's probably a couple names I'm missing too, but, you know, for everybody out there that's listening, and, you know, I can't forget about Mike Dunn. Mike Dunn, one of the best shooters that I've ever seen. He was one of our first guests. Everybody that's came on this show, I just want to say thank you. You guys mean the world to Sean and I, and, you know, without you guys, there'd be no show. And without Sean, there'd be no show. So I just want to give those people their due.
And listen, I appreciate you having me on, letting me get a platform for myself.
Mike.
You know, I love talking sports, social media, everything. And I want to help you grow. This is a great podcast.
This the future,
needs to be
bro.
heard by so many more people. And through my audience, I'm going to definitely push it.
Absolutely, man. There's a future in podcasting. And,
oh, yeah.
You know, through the powers of this, no more cables, no more cable companies like ESPN. They'll find their way to do it. But I think they're on the downward slide. But that's whether here nor there. I don't want to be saying that either, because they are the worldwide leader in sports. But that's something that remains to be seen.
I mean, listen, with social media and sports, you could communicate with anybody.
Right.
You could get in any player's DMs. You could get in anybody's DMs and communicate with these people. And the reason why sports, you know, has blown up so much and has reached so many people is because of social media.
Right.
You see highlights every day, stats, you know, similar to what I do, stats, highlights, all that kind of stuff. That's pushed out to an audience of so many people, that's directed to so many different people over so many walks of life, that just come together and communicate on sports, and sports and social media is magic.
Absolutely. And you also, you know, we'll move on now from, speaking of magic, October so far has been absolutely magical in postseason baseball. We've had 2 Game 5s on yesterday. The Cardinals wound up putting up a 10th spot in the first inning. What an unbelievable game.
Crazy.
What an unbelievable inning that was.
When does that happen in postseason baseball?
Not a lot.
Never.
Not a lot.
Never.
Not a lot. I don't know about never, but it just hasn't happened. And then you look at last night with the Dodgers and the Nationals.
Couldn't believe it.
My God.
I know we were having this talk pregame. You know, Howie Kendrick hit that grand slam to put them ahead.
Yep. 7-3.
Yep, 7-3. Listen, playoff baseball, everybody's an MLB player. You got to go into every at-bat locked in, ready to throw whatever pitches. Just because you get Howie Kendrick, he's a veteran, not necessarily a home run hitter, doesn't mean you just throw a few straight fastballs by him. You got a huge game 5. You got to be on it. I was extremely surprised he hit it. I'm happy for the Nationals. Gritty team.
And you want to know the best part about it was when he hit that grand slam right off his bat, he knew it was gone. Yeah. He knew it was gone.
What that feeling must have felt like for him, man. Boy.
I tell you, I've said it before, I'll say it again. October is made for pitching, people that pitch well, and for people that come up in the big spot.
Yep.
Last night, guys like Howie Kendrick, in years prior, Cody Ross with the San Francisco Giants. There are other names too that are right now just on my mind, but I can't get it out for whatever reason. But it's always the unsung hero that always comes through in October. It's always the unsung hero that comes through in October and wins you games.
There's always the birth of a player who's always spoken about and who will always be remembered for what they did in the postseason. Even if they didn't have a good regular season. What they did in the postseason in a big spot, the unsung hero, will always be remembered for that player.
Absolutely. And you talk about a guy I want to bring up a guy that put his name out there and he's been playing absolutely phenomenal so far this playoffs is Juan Soto. This kid's 20 years old. Somebody's got to check this
My
kid.
age, man. It's crazy.
He might be older. Somebody's got to check his birth certificate. Nah, I kid around about that. But still, though, or am I? But, you just never know what happens. And with a kid like this, he's in the zone. He's locked in.
He's hungry.
And when they put out Walker Buehler out there for Game 5, the kid can throw gas. He can. Absolute lights out. My thing is with Dave Roberts, I don't question him putting in Kershaw. That's what you do. He went out there, he did his job against Adam Eaton, getting the first guy out. But then you're going up against Rendon and then Soto. That's when it's like, okay, you second guess and you just say to yourself, why? Why are you doing this? But at that same point in time, Gary Sheffield said it the best on MLB on TBS yesterday in his post-game rant. And he just basically said these guys are zoned in on 100-mile-an-hour pitches from Buehler coming in. And then they bring in Kershaw, and, he's not the same pitcher that he once was.
Exactly.
And he's
not hitting the speeds he once was.
He's throwing 90, 91, and Rendon, who's in a contract year, comes through for this team. And then Soto, who's been a stud so far this postseason, hit a home run off of King Kersh. It's crazy.
Did they go back-to-back?
They did.
They did.
They did.
Craziness.
Amazing
is right.
Amazing what baseball fans got to see yesterday.
It's magic.
For two fan bases for the Dodgers, one has to question Dave Roberts, and one might be saying, is he gone? Is it something that can be addressed here? Me personally, I think the Dodgers are going to have to look at this because it's been 2 years, excuse me. Right? Did he get there in 2017?
Not too sure.
I think he got there in 2017. I'll look that up. But I know Don Mattingly was the manager prior.
Yes, that's for sure.
But, it's crazy. And then, for them, they made it to the World Series twice. They had their string of postseason runs. Now it's looking as if, they might break this whole team apart after all the success that they've had in the NL West. And for the Nationals and for Dave Martinez, a lot of people want this guy gone. They wanted this guy gone. They were under 500. They wound up fighting back. This is all without Bryce Harper, too.
Yep. Respect to them for that.
Absolutely.
Everybody's picking up the slack of Harper.
Absolutely. And there's a lot going on. But, credit a guy like Dave Martinez for going out there and using, their bullpen to a degree. And they had one of the worst bullpens in the league. But I want to get your take on what happened yesterday in that game.
Again, kind of like I said before, you can't underestimate anybody in sports, let alone postseason baseball, postseason football, basketball, anything. You let your guard down. I'm not saying Kershaw let his guard down, but maybe I don't think he was locked in. Maybe was he not ready for that moment? Not sure. I think it's just an unsung hero taking the big spot. He realizes what's going on in the game, and he came up clutch.
And then Joe Kelly, I don't get why Dave Roberts left him in after, that one inning in the ninth, and then for him to go out back there in the 10th, it's like, all right, you give up the double, you pull him out.
Yeah.
You still have Julio Urias, top gun, lefty, can throw gas, 21 years old, stud. Kenley Jansen, another guy. How do you not bring these guys in? I don't get it.
It's tough. We could sit here and say all that.
Play Monday morning quarterback.
Exactly. You got to look up the matchups.
Numbers.
Did the coach have a talk with one of the guys before, getting him psyched up and ready for that moment? And he was going with him. Maybe that was it. You never know.
Absolutely.
And, we were talking Yankees earlier. I want to talk that because
Go ahead.
Tonight's Game 5 between Houston and Rays, that matters most to the Yankees. I mean, I don't want to count out the Rays, but to me, the Astros are a lot more dangerous than the Rays are for the Yankees. Verlander, Greinke, and who's the other guy?
Cole.
I'm thinking of, and Cole.
He's pitching tonight.
Against the Yankees,
Right.
I don't know, man.
You can't discount the Rays either. They have
True.
Tyler Glasnow going for them tonight.
Yeah.
He pitched okay in the first game of the series going up against Houston, but this is Houston's game, to lose. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pressure. The Rays could go back out there and be like, all right, they're going to give them their all. But for Houston to lose tonight, this can absolutely be a game changer in this series. And make no mistake about it, if the Rays do go out there and play the Yankees, and there are a lot of Yankee fans and a lot of people in the media world, that go out there and just basically discredit what the Rays did.
Yeah, they already crowned what the Yankees are winners.
Yankees are winning the series. They're sweeping the Rays, everything like. No, don't be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything can happen in a 7-game
True.
series. We've seen crazier things happen. You know what I mean? Look at last night.
Yeah.
Look at last night. Nationals. They play the wild card game. Rays were the away team for the A's. You know what I mean? They play the A's in a hostile environment. They won.
Stuff could happen in baseball.
Any
sport, but baseball especially, one mistake could lead to losing a series.
Yes.
And that's why the Yankees need to be Aaron Boone needs to be on his game with who he's going to put out there. All right, the starting pitchers, he knows who he's going to put out.
Right.
The bullpen, he needs to make the right decisions in the right spots to win the games, whoever they face off against. And, I'm not a big Giancarlo Stanton guy. I didn't like...
Many people have jumped off the boat on him.
I've been off since they got him because I think... I'm not going to say he's overrated. He strikes out way too much. You put him in a lineup with Judge, who strikes out a bit. You know what I mean? And Gary Sanchez strikes out. I don't see Giancarlo doing anything against an Astros pitching staff, a Rays pitching staff. So I don't know how Boone is going to play that.
I think they're going to keep Giancarlo in the lineup as a DH.
Oh yeah.
I think
definitely.
I think CC Sabathia gets added as a piece. Not only because of the fact that it's his final year, but it's another guy that could pitch.
Big game pitcher.
Right.
He's got the experience.
Right. And everybody's talking about Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks' timing, to me, would be like, you know what? Listen, Aaron, we love you, but you got to sit out.
What do you do?
Series.
You know what I mean?
It's tough.
What do you do?
It's tough, but me personally, I would have Hicks sit out.
Well, look at what Gardner's doing. That's what you're going to probably say.
That's what I'm saying. You have Gardner, you have Maben, you have Judge, and you have Stanton. And you have Tyler Wade, who could go out there and play anywhere.
Yep.
Anywhere.
Yankees are dangerous.
They are.
1 through 9, even their bench is dangerous. And MLB teams, not too many teams have strong benches. The Yankees could fill in anybody, whether it's an injury or something's going on, matchup with the pitcher.
I want to get your quick take on this. NLCS, Cardinals, and Nationals.
Okay.
Who do you have winning that? And then Game 5 tonight, who do you have winning Game 5? And then your ALCS prediction, and then who wins?
All right.
I know it's a lot to swallow and digest.
Well, after I say one, just remind me on what else I got to do.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got the Cardinals coming through in the series.
Okay.
Did the Nationals pen? Is that they're going to give them issues? You never know. Who's going to... I know Rondon and Soto have stepped up. They're going to get more production from the rest of the team. Cardinals got a great lineup, great pitching staff. That's going to be a great series. I could see that series going to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins? Cardinals. What was the next?
Game 5 tonight.
Game 5 tonight
Yeah.
between
The Astros and the Rays.
Astros and the Rays. Man, I think the Astros come out on top.
Okay.
I think their guns are going to be gunning. So I think Altuve is going to be coming out swinging. So is Bregman. I think Bregman's going to have a huge night. Garrett Cole on the mound. Primetime game. Huge game. This is a legacy game for him, whether he's like, a big-time player. I can see him striking out 15 batters tonight. I think Astros come on top. Maybe a low-scoring game. Maybe a 4-2, 3-2.
Okay. So you had the Astros coming out tonight,
Yup.
and they play the Yankees this weekend
Yup.
in the ALCS. Who do
Yes.
you have winning that? I know you're a big Yankee fan.
Listen, man,
Take the bias cap off for a second, all right?
it's true. It's another game. It's not gonna be a sweep or anything like that. It's gonna go. I think that goes to 7 as well. Oh, the Yankees they gotta play gritty. They can't rely on home runs against Verlander, Greinke, and Cole. They're gonna get struck out a lot.
Yeah.
They need to play. Okay, somebody gets on, steal a base, bunt them over, get little runs like that. That's not how the Yankees really necessarily play this season. I think Boone needs to change that against a team like the Astros with a dominant pitching staff.
Right. So
I got the Yankees.
So you have the Cardinals going up against the Yankees. A classic World Series matchup
man.
right there. Classic.
And to put that out on top, the bias hat is off. I think the Yankees are destined to win this year.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I think they're going to bring it back to the Bronx.
6?
Oh.
5 games? How many games?
Damn.
Might be a classic 7-game series. Cardinals have
Maybe.
a great bullpen.
I can't even put a number on that series because it's going to be wild.
So Cardinals versus Yankees, and who do you see winning that?
Yankees come out on top.
Okay, Yankees
They're
are your
destined to
2019
win.
World Series champions.
They got so much firepower. DJ LeMahieu, hit machine. Look at the lineup. They got batters who can
Right.
hit the ball. As Boone said, they're dogs in the box.
Right.
Those guys are dogs in the box.
They're savages in the
They're
box.
savages in the box.
Right.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
I think they're going to bring it back to New York. I'm going to a World Series game. I don't care what it's going to cost me. They win the series, parade Manhattan. I'm taking off from school, doing whatever I got to do to get there.
I love it. I love the dedication of the fan right
yeah.
there, man.
Yep.
Awesome. Mike, how do the people follow you on social media, bud?
So you could follow NBA Buzz, just straight up NBA Buzz on Facebook. Official NBA Buzz on Instagram and Twitter. My personal is just Mikey Domagala on Instagram. Same with Twitter. Facebook, I'm not too big on my personal. Check out Inside Buzz with Mikey Domagala on YouTube. Those clips will be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. And start reading my articles. I'm going to pick up Courtside Buzz for the season when it's coming around.
That's awesome.
And yeah, man, that's where you can find me at. And hopefully, looking back at this in 5 years, I'll be somebody. That's who I want to be. Somebody.
One day at a time, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it one day at a time, and then you never know what might happen to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
all you can do. But I love the 5-year goal right there.
Yeah. So what I want to do, I want to become a broadcast journalist, writer. I love what Alan Hahn is doing.
Right.
What he's doing, I mean, he started as a writer, got on radio, now he's doing broadcasts. I love that. Calling basketball games for an NBA team, that's a dream. Becoming, having like a radio show or something, interview-based. I love interviewing people. It's great to communicate, meet new people like you're doing. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the best part about life, meeting people, communicating, and just, being a good person to another good person and
That's
talking
it.
about sports, whatever you want to talk about.
No, that's awesome, man. I learned a lot today from you, man. You have a bright future ahead of you.
I appreciate it.
And you got to keep on working and grinding,
Yep.
man. That's it.
Yep.
You
Will,
know?
I appreciate the time. Yep. Having me on.
Absolutely, Mike.
It's been great.
Yep.
It's been a great experience. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, Mike. Mike Domagala from
You got it.
Inside Buzz.
Yep.
NBA Inside Buzz. One of the better sites you'll ever want to see.
NBA Buzz.
NBA
Yep.
Buzz.
Yep. It's all right, man. Don't worry about it. We were talking about
I know we
different
got a lot,
names, different brands.
I got a lot of tabs going on in my brain right now, so it is what it is.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.
Mike.
If you guys could give me a follow, that would be greatly appreciated. Check out my show, everything I do.
Absolutely.
And let's enjoy a great MLB October, the rest of the season. And
Absolutely.
let's enjoy a great NBA season. It's going to be one of the greatest ever.
Absolutely, man. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait. Mike, thank you for coming
Again,
on, bro.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bud. I really do appreciate
Thanks
it.
for giving me the platform and inviting me on.
No problem. Anytime. You're welcome back on the show anytime.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
My guy Will, appreciate it again.
Absolutely. Twice as nice.
Signing off.
Absolutely. On that note, For everybody here at Gotham Podcast Studios, for Miles, our wonderful producer today. Didn't even shout him out at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he played New York State of Mind for me, and it was great. Out here in the Big Apple.
We're going to do that. Of course, when you come on the show, that's what we'll play. For everybody here at Gotham, and for Mike, I'm your host, Will Chirucci, logging out. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.